So, this is our second video of the evening, number 2. And we said that we would talk about some comic books that we thought should be made into television series or movies.
Which do and do not work.
Yes. So, start us off.
I don't remember how I started the conversation yesterday, but
You talked about Nowhereman yesterday.
right. Well, what I said was, do you know what comic book I think would make a good TV show?
Yes.
And you said, what did you say? Oh, you said Why the Last Man. I was like, well, it is being made into a TV show.
Yeah, which we'll touch on that first, and then we'll talk about Nowhereman. Why the Last Man will be very difficult.
Yes.
Not by the fact that you want to get everything right that Brian K. Vaughan wrote.
It's going to be difficult for people who do not read the comic to get into, to want to watch.
I don't think so, that part. I think it's going to be difficult to create that world and not have it seem like, oh, zombie post-apocalyptic. I think that's what people are going to think about.
Because now everyone's kind of over the zombies.
Some people are. Right.
I know. A lot of people are.
I also think it's going to be very difficult to find that many female actresses. I think it might be a little difficult. I think that I just imagine that there would be like a lot of crap pitched about that for some reason. I don't know.
You know what? I think you're trying to say it's going to be hard to find a lot of good female actresses. Because there are plenty of fucking actresses that are out there looking for work. Not all of them are good, which is why they're looking for work. I think
there's a lot of terrible actresses and actors.
Oh yeah, people who act in general.
But yeah, I just think that would be difficult to do. I don't think it would work as a movie because I don't think anybody is going to go see 3 of those.
Too short,
I think Lord of the Rings murdered that for everybody.
Yeah.
I think it would make a great like FX series.
Yeah.
I think everyone talks about how AMC can do this Walking Dead, right? And these other shows like that. They have not been watching stuff on FX, I feel. Justified, Sons of Anarchy, going back to The Shield. I missed it. Lots of great stuff. So I feel like Why the Last Man would be difficult, but
I feel like it's going to be hard for them to find a fan base for people who haven't read the comic. Because dudes aren't going to watch it if it's just about bitches. Because that's what they're going to say. Yeah. Girls aren't going to want to watch it unless they're uber feminist, probably. Or feminists in general. I don't know. We're getting off topic and people are going to yell at us for saying things. And I don't really care.
Anyway, then you said Nowhereman would actually work.
That's what I meant.
That's what you meant. And
how many of these people are reading Nowhereman?
Yeah, if you're not reading Nowhereman, I posted it a while back. I said if you're not reading Nowhereman and you read comics, you're a fool.
Yeah.
It has so much going for it that it's... I don't know how this guy came up with this idea. It's completely mind-boggling.
Me neither.
Like my mind's in a bottle. But it's ridiculous about how he came up with this idea where these guys, these 4 scientists, are essentially like the Beatles. They've completely made science popular. Everybody wants to be scientists.
Science is the new rock and roll. That's
science is the new rock and roll.
That's their tagline. They have shirts and stuff.
And it's just ridiculous about like the ideas that they're coming up with, and then there's like power plays within this group of scientists, and then eventually you realize that they have the space station, like it crashes, and there's mutants, and they all become mutants, and all this other stuff's happening.
Well, not all of them become mutants.
A lot of them are. But I think, yeah. I'm thinking it would be very difficult to do that because it's a lot of, here we're talking, here's the backstory about what happened.
That's what I think.
And then the mutant throws the freaking engine out of a bus 5 football fields. And it's incredible. Even the parts where they're just talking is amazing because it's all building all these different layers about what's happened.
Which is why I think it would make a good TV show specifically. Not a movie, not a TV movie, or like a miniseries, like a TV show, like The Walking Dead kind of. But, and like, I feel like that's kind of how you can base it. Because you know The Walking Dead, they talk a lot, they do a lot of shit, and then you got your zombie kills, and that's what's in it. That's what people watch for. Zombie kill of the week,
Yeah.
they have that bullshit.
Yeah.
So I think Norman would be like that. Like, they can have... I
just think it'd be a little slow for people to get to those parts. It's rare that we disagree on something.
It is rare, but it happens.
Yeah, I also don't want to see that be taken in right away and
No, not
go
right away.
with,
I
so,
was just talking in general.
Yeah.
Because you were saying specifically should be doing content.
The next thing, I'm just going to go right off the bat. I'm not even going to go into further detail on this because if you don't read them, if you don't know what I'm talking about, you're a fool. Rocketeer. A Disney movie from the 1990s, one of the greatest comic book movies ever made. Severely needs a revamp. The Shadow.
Does.
Alec Baldwin, 1990s.
It needs a huge
Needs a revamp. It's a very campy movie, but it's amazing. If you don't read The Shadow, if you're not familiar with The Shadow at all, I feel bad for you. The very first Batman story was a ripoff of an entire Shadow story.
Yeah.
Shadow's the original Batman.
It's true.
The Phantom.
Yeah.
He's the one, something. Get Billy Zane out of there. Get someone cool in there. That ends that.
No, there's somebody else.
Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing needs a new one too. Get that revamped severely. Make it a television series.
That would be so
It'd
cool.
be a good television
That would
series.
be really cool. Would you want Animal Man to make appearances in that?
Animal Man should make appearances. Superman should make appearances. Everybody should. It'd be great.
Animated or live?
I would settle for animated.
I think animated would actually be really
Animated would be the way to go because the CGI, what we now know Swamp Thing is capable of, would be better. Yeah. I think, obviously, Preacher.
Cool. Are they doing that? They're doing that, right?
They can never do Preacher.
I don't think
They'll
they're-
never do Preacher without
Maybe
alienating
talking
the
about
original audience
Yeah.
or alienating everybody else. No way. It's if you don't read Preacher, it's amazing. What else?
We talked a lot. Oh, you know what else can't be made into it? What else?
Punk Rock Jesus.
That's not where I was going, but go on.
Punk Rock Jesus would
They
be
can't
a
do that.
fantastic one.
It would be, but they can't do
Couldn't
it.
really do that one either, though. Irritate a lot of people.
Same thing as Preacher. They're in the same category.
Very similar.
It's because religion,
Yeah, what were you going to say?
Dear Creature, they can't do that.
I haven't read that yet.
You haven't read Dear Creature?
Jonathan Case, Dear Creature, he's the guy that's writing Batman 66 right now. He's a local guy from Portland. Phenomenal writer and everything else I've read of his. I haven't read Dear Creature, but it's like, he's a, like, Creature from the Black Lagoon, right?
Yeah, it's Creature, more or less Creature.
And all he's had to read is Shakespearean novels.
That's
so
how he talks.
That's how he
like
talks.
Shakespeare stuff, and it's like, I don't want to ruin it for you. No, it's okay.
Okay.
I just want to. It just won't be able to. They can't do it.
What else? I had Starman.
Oh, that would be
Starman
cool
would be
when I go on it.
fantastic.
I haven't read it.
The development of the character Jack Knight, who takes over the helm of Starman after his brother is brutally murdered in the first episode or first issue, would be fantastic. He was vaguely, or not vaguely, he was briefly in Smallville for an episode I've heard. It wasn't Jack Knight though.
Oh, maybe they can get the rights to that.
Yeah, that should be a thing. Yeah, that Starman would be fantastic. I haven't read it yet, but I have read it. I've read a couple issues of 100 Bullets. That would be a fantastic
I've
one.
been told to read that.
Matt Fraction's current run on FF would make a killer television series.
That would be really cool, actually. I would
am
really dig that.
super apprehensive about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but if they told me an FF television show is coming out, wouldn't even think twice about watching it.
Specifically Matt Fractions, though, because the Hickman one before that FF that was going on...
It was pretty serious. But
it was boring.
Matt Fraction's FF is hilarity
It's
every
really
issue,
good.
but
And you know
there's so
why
much
it's
happening.
so good, though? Because it doesn't focus on the Fantastic Four with their kids. It focuses on all new Fantastic Four. Ant-Man, She-Hulk. The girl with the pink hair.
Oh, Darla Deering.
Darla Deering. And Medusa.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a good one.
It's so cool.
Oh, I just thought of it. Oh, what was it? Oh, the Spirit should be redone because Frank Miller murdered that thing because he's a horrible, horrible person. That had such great potential too.
I think for long running, Fables would make a really good TV show, but there's so.
But now there's that
much
Grimm and Once Upon a Time, so they'd be like, "You're just ripping off this."
Well, they basically did rip off Fables. More
They
or
did.
less.
Yeah, but now that this is out first, now everyone's gonna.
Yeah, I
the
know. That's what they
forerunner.
say. Even though the Fables was first, Fables been out for
I
10
think
years.
that they need to make Scalp.
I haven't read that.
Jason Aaron, I believe
Aaron.
it is, who's currently doing the Thor: God of Thunder run, which is fantastic.
Oh my god.
Same writer. This is his crime thing on an Indian reservation, and it's fantastic. It's brutal. It plays out like a movie. It needs to be done. It's put on FX, AMC. Doesn't need to be a Showtime show. Doesn't need to be a movie. It is so good. Constantine would make a good. I know it was a movie with Keanu Reeves, but that would make a good, like Monster of the Month type of thing or Monster of the Week type thing. I think that would be pretty good.
You know what would make a terrible TV show or movie? We spoke about this yesterday.
When we were having this conversation yesterday.
Yeah. Mind the Gap.
Oh God!
It's still forgettable. It would be terrible.
If you don't
Who gives a
read,
shit?
if you don't read Mind the Gap,
Good. Don't.
It started off with such promise.
It really did. The first 4 or 5 issues, I was like, "This is so cool."
Yeah,
and then I was
then
like, "Bleh."
it's
I read up to issue 6. I think 11 is out now. It goes up to 6. It'll go up to 16. But I missed issue 7 somewhere, and I won't read past before I get that. So I don't care.
I don't know how I did not think of
That
this.
probably really does hurt their ears. But go on.
I guess in a way it would be similar to the current show, American Horror Story, how each season is a timepiece.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this?
No, I don't know where you're going with
Each
this.
season starts out in a different time period from what I've understood. The first one was kind of modern, the second one kind of back to
I watched
the
the first episode of the
70s.
second one.
And then this new one, I guess, is kind of around the same time period. But American Vampire would be fantastic.
Yeah.
American Vampire, I feel, is one of the...
I don't want them to do it though, because they're gonna ruin it.
Is probably one of the top 5 comics out there right now.
Oh, it is.
I'd probably have to go...
Amazing.
I'm going to mention some other ones that I think would be cool to be done, but they'll never be able to be done right, really. Is Saga and Fatale, for starters.
Yeah.
Awesome comics, never be able to done right. I don't care what you say.
Never.
Fatale, they would leave out a lot of the old cult stuff that would not be picked up.
Translate well.
Saga,
It,
I just feel like
they would have
Brian
to
K.
make it,
Vaughan would say no for starters.
He would, and they would make it too CGI. There'd be too much CGI going on, and it would just be boring.
Mm-hmm.
Not that CGI is boring. I'm
But
just saying it's that factor.
American Vampire, Saga, Fatale are 3 must-reads that you have to be
Do you know
reading
what
right
Saga
now.
would be good as? As an actual just chapter book.
I could see that.
I think it would be a really good book. It doesn't need to be a comic book. I like it better as a comic book as of right now. It's amazing, and it comes out soon.
You know what else? Last thing, it was actually rumored with Mr. Del Toro is Justice League Dark. Remember when that was rumored?
Told you that.
Yeah, you told me that.
I think they probably put the kibosh on that.
Yeah, that was probably done, but I think that would have been
That would be amazing.
the ideal
Justice League movie.
Justice League movie.
Oh yeah.
And then they could have done all the other one-offs. I think that, I don't know how to say it. This could be it could almost be like the Guardians of the Galaxy is what it's going to be to the Avengers movie. Because we have the Avengers.
Gotcha.
But when Guardians of the Galaxy comes out, they're going to introduce like these 5 people, and that's what Justice League Dark should. I think Justice League Dark should come out before the next Batman, Superman, and Wonder Man.
Not
thing.
gonna happen.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's that. I'm sure we didn't talk about a lot of things. Oh, last thing, it was originally a comic or a cartoon. Then it was a comic. It dropped off really fast.
Oh.
It's my all-time favorite cartoon. All-time one of my favorite comics. Pirates of Darkwater would make a phenomenal movie.
Yes, it would. Especially now.
Now, if you have not watched Pirates of Darkwater,
Get on YouTube.
get on YouTube, start watching. It is the precursor to the very popular cartoon that's come out, Avatar,
Yeah.
The Last Airbender, and Legends of Korra. Pretty much is the original one of that, with pirates
In Dark Waters.
in dark water, which is mutant water that's going to grab you and pull you down.
You didn't mention Calvin and Hobbes.
Oh yeah, Calvin and Hobbes. I don't know how that has not been done yet. We have a terrible Garfield movie.
We have a bunch of terrible Garfield movies.
Bill
We
Murray,
have
you're the
fucking
worst.
Smurf movies.
You're the worst, Bill Murray.
Stop that.
No.
No, not you.
Oh.
Bill Murray.
But no, yeah, Calvin and Hobbes. How have you not done this?
Yeah, seriously.
Arguably the most popular
They can
comic.
do so many different
in the
things
world.
with it too. They can make.
You know
like,
what it is? You know what it is? Wilfred is
I'm just
Calvin
gonna
and
say that.
Hobbes.
I'm just gonna say that. No shit. I was just gonna say that.
We're gonna stop on that.